Oh! Oh! He's early today. He's 1 minute early. Can you believe it? And he sounds sick. Oh my God. I'm nursing some sort of allergy or cold. Also, my baby goes to daycare a lot, and so I'm just sick a lot. So it can be tough for those of you who have little ones at home or have had little ones in the past. You know, you get sick quite a bit. Children are harbingers of disease. What's going on, everybody? Getting people coming into the fold. We got a good show for you today. It is Turkey live stream, baby. The day before Thanksgiving here in the US of A. Hopefully you are out there, hopefully cozying up with family, hopefully not fighting too much at the Thanksgiving dinner table. I know it's going to be a crazy-ass year. I swear election years are always crazy for Thanksgiving. Thankfully, it's already done and dusted with, and we can now just argue about the results rather than the, impending results, which I think is a little easier. But anyways, politics aside, hope you have a good turkey day tomorrow. Hope you stuff your face, because that's, I think, what the whole holiday is about, right? Certainly not all the nice indigenous folks out there, or Columbus, or some other random crap. Who the hell knows? Not Columbus, the Pilgrims, all that good stuff. Anywho, let's talk about motorcycles, shall we? That's got to be the good stuff. Levy Lean's saying he's got to go do homework. No. Watching Yammie Noob is clearly much more important than doing homework. Absolutely. Natalie says, just started watching Yammie pick up my bike tomorrow. Thank you, man. You're welcome. Doing it much faster. I have seen some comments for people who they say stuff like, I've been watching you for years. I still don't have a bike. I'm like, dude, acquire the motorcycle. Get the bike at all costs. You got to do it. See, Pisty over here on chat has the true determination. 2 a.m. and he's tuning into the stream. Now, I'm not saying that there's a big overlap between amphetamine users and Yammie Noob watchers. I'm just saying that Venn diagram is two circles overlapping, probably. So, yeah. Larry Eccles here, echoing my sentiment. Happy Thanksgiving, all that good stuff. Got a guy here from, I assume, India, asking me what I think of the TVS Ronin. I have never heard of it. There are lots of motorcycles in the international market I unfortunately have no context for or understanding for. So, unfortunately, I can't help you there. We don't even have TVSs here in America. Malamoto asked, debating canceling a Panigale V4 pre-order. What's your take on the 2025? Well, it looks like a fantastic machine. I've been saying this for a few years now. Ducati's flagship products are just so good, especially on track. They are magic. Basically, you feel all that incredible MotoGP trickle-down technology. One of the few instances in the world where trickle-down actually happens is motorcycle tech coming from the race bikes to the street products. I think that it got a bit of a bump in price, but I think it's worth it. It's got that crazy wide TFT. If you're looking for ultimate, I think it's pretty sweet. So, yeah. 1 a.m. in Nigeria? No way. You're actually in Nigeria? This is crazy. Out of 100 people watching the stream, there's a guy in Nigeria. Isn't the internet amazing? That's so crazy. What is going on in Nigeria? What is happening over there right now? Natalie says, going to my first bike night tonight without the bike. Well, let him know that Yammie Noob spoke to you directly. Daniel says, be my dad so I can yell at you and tell you you're not my real dad. By watching Yammie Noob, I become your dad. I'm also an actual dad now, so that's kind of changed the calculus. I now have a lot of children, I guess. Child support's gonna be a hard thing to care for. But boys, we are just hanging out here on the pre-stream. We're letting people trickle in a little bit because we just launched live. We were a whole minute early, I believe, or we hit it right at 6 p.m. I like to be on time, but as much as I like to be on time, I'm actually not. Exorinity, 1999. Thank you very much, my friend. Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone. You are welcome. Ooh, Lightning Llama with the spicy questions. Valentino Rossi or Marc Marquez? My heart says Valentino, but we're going to see what Marc does this year on a factory, or next year on a factory Ducati. I think that's going to be interesting. I think if Marc can, really step it up and get back to winning ways, if he can notch up just 2 more championships, he might be the GOAT. I mean, it's insane what he went through and how he's back on the bike, and it's just really amazing. Really, really amazing. Loud Potatoes asked me, what's your thoughts on the Gixxer 750? If you want my complete thoughts on that bike, I put out a video called 5 Bikes I Changed My Mind On recently, and the Gixxer 750 was the first bike I talked about. I'll give you a TLDR. I actually think the Gixxer 750 is in a very unique position right now that it kind of failed upwards into this new super sport category. I think Suzuki is probably looking around and being like, holy crap, we can bring back the 750 and pretend like it's some new bike and it's going to kill. Because it makes about 150 horsepower. It's kind of it is a super sport frame. I think it's primed to dominate, or not dominate, just do extremely well in that category. So I think the 750 has a really good shot. I think if Suzuki detunes it, makes it a little more street friendly, makes it look like a new age motorcycle, I think they have a very good chance. The only issue would be that the GSX 8R is now a bigger number than 750, and that would confuse people, but there's ways around that. Maybe they make a GSX R9. Just make a bigger one. What's going on here? Daniel Wood saying, Rossi for life. He was a kid and he tamed a 500. That is a very fair point. It was a very different time in motorcycle racing, but the fact that he rode 500cc two-stroke Grand Prix bikes, and he rode for so long, he basically made it into the aero age like a few years ago, is pretty amazing. And the fact that he switched manufacturers and won and all that stuff. Like, Rossi is goated, don't get me wrong. But, Mark's doing some cool stuff. Abu Dun, the guy in Nigeria, says, it's a quiet night, gets so much joy from my 2015 Honda NC 750X. That's probably like a big bad bike in Nigeria. If it's anything like India and Brazil, where like anything above 600 cc's is like, whoa, that's a big ass bike, Ooh, Pisty asking the real questions. What do you prefer, copper or aluminum oil drain washers? That's, wow. I prefer aluminum. I don't know if there's any reason for me to prefer that. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think copper is a softer metal than aluminum, so I believe it has better like crushing qualities and sealing qualities when you torque it with a bolt, and I think that's why people use them for brake lines. That might be total speculation, but I think there's a reason why we use copper for brake lines. Maybe it has better like anti-corrosion capabilities. I don't know. I'm not a metallurgy guy, but yeah, aluminum for drain bolts, copper for brake lines. That's how I always do it. All right, Adam asked me, what are your thoughts on all the rider aids on bikes? Do you think it will water down rider skills? Not necessarily, because I think that rider skill is always going to, I think by the nature of how a motorcycle works, you're always going to need some rider skill because you need to balance it, you need to manage throttle, you need to manage clutch. I don't think, bikes manicuring traction and manicuring some of that control, because they really only come in when it's like egregious levels of input or extremely high skilled riding. And a lot of beginners don't really operate in those bands. So that would be my guess, honestly. Jaden asks, have you heard of the Aston Martin AMB 001 Pro? What are your thoughts? Yes, it's a motorcycle. I've not heard of that bike. I don't know anything about it. Unfortunately. I don't know Aston Martin made a bike. Hopefully Aston Martin, I was trying to make a segue to the new Jaguar rebrand. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was ridiculous. Like, what are you thinking? That was insane. So insane. All right, boys, how about we get started with the stream here? Have some fun. So, if you're new here, we start off with rider questions answered. Look at this. Producer Logan has a new image for us to look at here. It's me from the other stream with all my regalia saying that I see a Turbo Hayabusa in your future, brother. That is a good image. Now, if you want questions answered in the future, be sure to submit them through the Discord server. You get started as a member on yammynoob.co, and you submit the questions. You hang out with me and the whole community. It's a lot of fun. If you have questions on Wow, my brain. If you have any questions that you want to submit for the stream now, you can drop them in the chat. I'll try to answer them between the questions here if I see a good one. But without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Okay. Mr. Receptor on YouTube has asked, would you ever consider owning a two-stroke? Absolutely. So two strokes, right now, the only new ones you can get are dirt bikes. I'm not a big dirt bike guy. I dabbled with them for a little bit. I have ridden a couple two-stroke dirt bikes, and they are fascinating. They're so lightweight. They're so simple. They make a great sound. They're really, really cool. But I don't have a need for a two-stroke dirt bike. However, perhaps in a few years when I lose all my marbles and I decide that owning an old two-stroke race bike would be a good idea, that's what I could see myself getting into. I could definitely see myself getting a 250cc two-stroke bike to ride on track. Some ultra lightweight, highly flickable, beautiful handling little two-stroke race bike would be a ton of fun. So I would highly consider owning a two-stroke like that. Or maybe an old school 70s Widowmaker two-stroke would be really interesting too. But the pragmatist in me knows that that would be such a headache to own, and I don't think I'm ever going to actually do that. But I have considered it. I've thought about it. The content would be very, very interesting. So, yeah. Next up, Yogelman on YouTube. Do you see motorcycle culture dying by 2026? What? I plan on joining the club as I turn 16. Then I'll be worried that it'll be outdated or not the same. Brother, that's in like a year. I don't think that motorcycle culture will die in a year. That would imply that perhaps there's some sort of apocalypse, which maybe, like things are kind of crazy right now in the world in general. But I don't think motorcycle culture by itself will die out without some insane external factor. I think it's going to be okay. I think that you'll be able to turn 16, you'll be able to get a bike, you'll be able to join the club. It will not be outdated. It will definitely still be here. There's lots of good people still riding and enjoying older bikes. Actually, the average age of a motorcycle right now on the road is like 12 years, I think. So, yeah, Lightning Llama here on chat said the bikes have been around for 75 years. You'll be good. Yeah, don't worry. This is like such like a younger person question, but they'll be around in a year. Don't worry. If they're not, I'm out of a job. So I certainly need them to be around for another year. Okay, Jerry Jensen 9500. Why don't professional motorcycle reviewers ever address the complexity and cost of maintenance? This is a great question. I believe that when you say professional reviewers, you have two, in my opinion, two categories of professional motorcycle reviewers. You have people like me who, in general, are just high-level enthusiasts, people who have been doing it for a long time but don't have any professional credentials. I'm not a journalist. I am not credentialed in any way to review motorcycles. I just have a lot of experience with bikes, and I can speak about them in a pretty competent way. Then you also have the other angle of it are professional reviewers, right? People who are journalists who are paid by a magazine, a publication to talk about them. And when everybody's posting on YouTube, the waters get kind of muddy. But I think the reason why we don't talk about complexity and cost of maintenance as much is that it's just not as sexy, right? Like, people want to hear about power and how the bike feels and what's fun about it and what's interesting and how it compares to the competition. Those are the talking points that typically get the most amount of click-through and viewership, because at the end of the day, whether you're writing an article or making a video about a motorcycle, that's really all that matters. You're trying to get the most amount of people looking at your stuff, because that's the way that advertising and kind of content works on the internet, right? And, making videos that address complexity and cost of maintenance, I include in a lot of my reviews complexity and cost of maintenance, but I just don't think it's as big of a deal, particularly as motorcycles have become incredibly reliable, KTM's notwithstanding, in the recent years. So that would be my guess on it right now. All right. Scott Hart, 5118, asks me, is the cost of installing adjustable fork cartridges on a Ninja 500 for street use worth it? I plan to keep the bike for a long time. It's actually pretty simple to install new fork cartridges on a motorcycle. And if it's a motorcycle you plan on keeping for a very long time, you will get an incredibly different feeling out of the bike and much more adjustability. There are ways to use the stock internals, the stock fork tubes on a Ninja 500 because they're the same as a Ninja 400. Then you swap out the internals, you put gold valves. You can do a lot of stuff that improves the front end feel of a Ninja 500. I would say the second part of your question is for street use. In my opinion, for a Ninja 500 for street use, it's overkill. If you're taking it on track and you're racing it and you really need the front end to, reduce some of that dive that they have, some of that slop, some of that kind of wallowy rebound that they have stock because it just simply doesn't hold up on track, that makes sense. It's totally serviceable on street. The only caveat I would put there is if you're a much larger rider, it's always worth investing in suspension because the commuter category, the 400s, the 500s, they tend to come equipped basically for like a 150 to a 170 pound rider. They're usually much lighter weight riders in mind. So sometimes you jump on those bikes and the suspension is just insanely bad because you're just simply too big for the spring that's in the rear and the front fork. So that's what I would say. All right, next question here. Dr. Frank on YouTube. As a 55-year-old new rider, I've been watching a lot of videos about safe riding. One area that I'm still not quite sure about are tar snakes. How dangerous are they? Should I avoid them at all costs? Should I avoid them only while cornering? Should I really not be concerned about them? Thanks in advance and thanks for your videos. P.S. I ride a Speed 400. I'd like to actually put this to a poll because I am interested. Because I have opinions about tar snakes. Do you worry about tar snakes? We're going to say yes. We're going to say no. Because I am curious. There is a road in Austin where I used to live. I live in DFW now. But there was a road in Austin I used to take all the time that was literally riddled with tar snakes. And they are such a funny thing because basically what a tar snake is there used to be a crack in the road. And it's one of the cheapest ways that they can fix the road, right? They just kind of fill it in with like this gummy, goopy asphalt type of thing. I'm not really sure what the compound is. All I know is that it's quite like kind of sticky and gummy. You can feel a very big difference when you're on concrete or asphalt and you veer off into a tar snake. I think when you're mid-corner, it will change the way the bike feels. You can actually feel the tar snake a little bit when you're on there, but it doesn't affect grip so much in my experience, particularly at, regular street pace. If you're just kind of cruising along, kind of carving corners, taking it easy, you're not going to notice, danger from tar snakes. They are designed to have some level of grip. Someone here on chat, Evan, mentioned that only when wet and cornering, and that should always be a consideration, right? Like, if you have less access to grip when it's wet and you're riding through corners, that is when you should try to keep the bike more upright, try to brake much more early, and try to reduce the speeds because your tires just don't have as much grip. Tar snakes don't tend to get slick like paint does whenever it's wet. They tend to absorb the moisture a lot because, again, they're kind of a porous, gummy compound. But, unless there's a ton of tar snakes on this road, it's not a big deal. I would be much more concerned about gravel and sand especially, and wet weather and wet spots, because that can dramatically change your grip as you're going through the corner, right? Like, you're carving it through, nice, dry, hot day, and you hit sand, it will immediately change how much grip you have because you have way less adhesion to the road. Tar snakes doesn't do that as much. So that's what I would recommend. Georgia says, the compound in tar snake is tar. Imagine that. Look at that. It's in the name, folks. You learn something new every day. Okay, Matthew Venti 533 on YouTube asked, what is the best way to get your friends into motorcycling? Okay, so I think the best way to get your friends into motorcycling is to show them two things. Is to show them, number one, how much fun you're having, and number two, how cheap it was to do it. Depending on the circles of friends you have, some friends don't want to spend money to get involved in a new hobby, and that totally makes sense. But if you can show them that it wasn't that much money, and you can show them it's a ton of fun to do, and it's something to get started with, I think it's kind of a no-brainer. I have not successfully convinced anyone in my personal life to get started riding. I've successfully convinced thousands of people online who already wanted to start riding, but I don't think anyone personally that I know that wasn't already interested in bikes, I got into bikes for them or something like that. I think basically you have to like incept the idea of motorcycling in their brain so that they think it was their idea when they started getting a bike, you know, and when like they start, oh man, I'm really into bikes. You're like, yes, you only think that because I put this into your brain. I sent you Yammie Noob videos that were funny and you watched them and you started thinking about this, right? That's a good way to do it too, kind of subliminally. You know what I mean? It's a good way to do it. You could also have them just sit on your bike and just be like, yeah, man, feels pretty cool, right? Like, what do you think, bro? Like, you know, it could be something like that because if you have a good buddy that's riding with you, it does make the experience a whole lot more fun. All right, Night. I cannot read that. Night HRE Horror 2000. I don't know, on YouTube. Is the US going to see a surge in the popularity of more practical motorcycling? We have a video coming out about this next Saturday. It seems people might be gaining interest in cheaper bikes to ride and use in urban areas. Do you think middleweight and smaller bikes that are more practical, like the NC 750X, Versys 650, and V-Strom 650, will see a surge in popularity with the incoming generation of riders? I absolutely think so. And what I think is happening is that there is now the new baby adventure category. We've talked about this in 2 different videos that are coming out in the next couple of days, but I'm seeing this trend where people are getting drawn to very simple, very cheap, highly versatile motorcycles. Think the Himalayan 450, the CF Moto 450 MT, the new KTM 390 Adventure, the new BMW 450 Adventure. I believe that there is going to be an explosion in cheap, adventurous, versatile motorcycles that you can commute with, take a little bit of luggage with, take on a long trip. I really think that's a big thing. You combine that with the fact that you see more automatic motorcycle options here in America, and I really think that people who live in urban and suburban areas that are close to urban areas don't have a very long commute. People who maybe have to, you know, ride or drive less than 10 miles to get to where they're getting to, but there's a ton of traffic, might start finally seeing motorcycles as a viable option. Again, we have a whole video coming out on this next Saturday where we talk about motorcycles as a viable transportation option for people in America. And I think with the way the economy is going, with how expensive new cars are, I just found out literally a few days ago, I saw a news article that said that the average new car price is $48,000 in the United States. That is bonkers that somebody would go and pay 48 grand for some random Camry or an Accord or, you know, just a regular passenger vehicle, some random crossover. You could get a bike that can do basically everything you needed to do for like 8 grand. So I really think that it's going to be a big change the next couple of years. I've already started to see here in the US that it's starting to look more and more like and I hate to say it, but like third world countries where you have very, very rich people and you have everybody else. And in countries like that, you tend to see more motorcycle usage because it's just cheaper. It's simpler. It's better. I really hope that doesn't happen. I would love to see the classic strong American middle class, but it's not. It's looking like we're entering a gilded age and money's getting concentrated and there's going to be pretty much, you know, way more people in poverty than there used to be. And you know what? Motorcycles are there for you. They are cheap, they are great, and I highly advocate them as a fun way of transit, you know? Someone on chat here, Obscenities, thank you for the $5. What is your opinion on the BMW G310 GS? Also have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you very much. I think the BMW G310 GS is an interesting little bike. I haven't had too many positive experiences with it because it's a little outgunned in the category now. It's a bit old school. If you look, the dash that it has, is like this old school LCD dash, and I believe it's a sort of rebranded TVS bike from India. I'm much more interested in the new F450 GS. I think that makes a lot more sense for 2025, but it's a good little bike. If you can find a good deal on one, I think there's nothing wrong with it, but I just think that it may suffer some weirdness in, you know, reliability and other things like that. Okay. Fulor on Discord. Will AI make motorcycles cheaper and more affordable, or just make it more profitable for the businesses? Definitely second option. I think any intersection of artificial intelligence and motorcycling will basically just serve to drive down research and development costs for motorcycling, and you will not see any savings as a consumer, unfortunately. Particularly because if people are already used to paying more and more and more money year over year for bikes, and people are kind of like, you know, I tell people all the time that inflation starts with you, right? Like if like I'll give you a perfect example. This is kind of off kilter here. I went to the grocery store a couple of days ago. I was shopping for produce, as any normal human being would do. I saw that strawberries were priced at $7.99 a box. Guess what I did? I took a photo of it, I sent it to my wife, and I said, look at this bullshit. And I didn't buy the strawberries, even if I wanted them. I was like, that's a crazy ass price for strawberries, bro. I'm not paying that. And it's the same thing with everything else. If you show up at dealerships and you show up at, real estate deals and you just keep getting boned and you allow yourself to be boned, the problem will just keep getting worse. People seem to forget that consumerism rests within us. You have to have the ability to say no to a bad deal. But people get in their heads that they gotta get the newest and greatest thing. And then they go and they spend a ton of money on it. And it's so dumb. So, yeah, going back to the point of this question, I think that, in any dimension in which AI is going to make bikes cheaper and more affordable, I could see, again, research and development being aided by AI. Ducati actually currently uses AI for their MotoGP program because they collect so much data. They actually use it to parse out the data and to figure out new learnings and stuff like that. I could see, working with AI to develop new materials or whatever. Again, AI right now is basically just large language learning large language models. That basically they just guess the next word that is going to be in a string of text. They're not actually intelligent, and the hype is largely overblown on AI. So yeah, I think it would just serve to help businesses be more profitable. And also, if motorcycle companies get in on this, it's basically just going to be, them slapping AI onto something and trying to raise the stock prices up. Anyways, just my 2 cents on the topic. Lathan Credit on Discord. Morning, Papa Yam. I have a question for the live stream. Are sport bikes dying out and will soon be a novelty? If so, what will replace them? Naked bikes or just enduro and touring bikes? If you had asked me this question 2 years ago, I would have said yes, sport bikes are definitely dying out. The 600 class is not going well, all that stuff. But I've actually been very excited by stuff like the Yamaha R9, the new Panigale V2, the RC990. I think that sport bikes still have a lot to go because, they're very emotional. People love them. They're super interested in them. They're really cool, right? And you can't really get away from that, right? Like, sport bikes have a very unique allure to people, much like cruisers, and they serve an emotional need for people. And so I don't think they're going to die out, but I do see them going into a very niche market. However, the new sport bikes that are coming out, like the GSX-8R, the V2, the R9, they've all made way more concessions for street use than I ever would have imagined. Excuse me. So I don't think they'll be replaced. I think they're going to live alongside, adventure bikes and touring bikes and naked bikes. But, I don't think it's going to be something that dies out or anything like that. And hopefully here on chat, y'all can back me up. All right, Shane on Discord. What do I tell my woman who doesn't want me riding motorcycles? My last wreck scared her bad, and she wants me to hang up the helmet for good. That's a really tricky one. And this is not a relationship advice channel, but I will give you my 2 cents since you asked me. I believe that if riding is something that's very important to you and you feel your best self when you're riding, I believe it's in your best interest to do that activity. It is not inherently harmful. Yes, it is a little risky, but it's not something, it's not a drug addiction. It's not a gambling problem. I'm not sitting here being like, yeah, brother, go play the slots, I believe that there are ways to mitigate a tremendous amount of risk when it comes to riding motorcycles. And I believe that if you were to show her that you're taking action to mitigate those risks, she might feel better about you riding. What do I mean by that? I mean that you could possibly, you could ride motorcycles on track more than on street. You could maybe, avoid certain rush hour commutes or more dangerous times to ride. You could maybe avoid riding at night. You could wear an airbag system. There are so many steps you could take to make the experience safer. You could take an advanced riding course to make yourself a better rider. I'm a big advocate of investing in yourself and becoming a better rider and learning new mitigation strategies for being on road and avoiding accidents and incidents. There's a lot of stuff you can do because there's a lot of riders that have been riding for 30 years and have no accidents, and it can't all just be luck, right? Like, there has to be some degree of skill or application of riding that allows you to not get into sticky situations, right? So, yeah, I would say that it might be a tough conversation if your lady wants you to ride or stop riding, but if it's something you want to keep doing, I'm a big advocate of doing what you want to do, man. Don't let anybody tell you how to live your life. Your partner, your boss, your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, your friends, whoever. If you want to do something, you got to do it. And you got to, and she has to understand that and work within the parameters of you wanting to do something, because that's what life is about. That's what life's about. All right, Jib sent me a question here. Thank you very much, Jib, for the $9.99. Appreciate it. All right, what's your opinion on the DRZ 400 SM with 3.75 in the front as an enduro bike versus some of the super light bikes that it can keep up with that can't seem to get enough weight on the rear wheel? Wow, that is a super extremely specific question. What is my opinion on the DRZ 400 SM in the front as an enduro bike? Yeah, I don't think you should turn a DRZ 400 SM into an enduro bike. It's super heavy. It wasn't really designed for that. You should just get the DRZ S, the regular dual sport one, and just run it as that. But I will say, if you're running it as a real deal enduro bike, yeah, that's tough. They weigh a lot. You can do it. I've seen people do crazier stuff with bigger bikes. It is just going to be a little bit more challenging because the DRZ does weigh about 100 pounds more than a real enduro motorcycle. That's just what I would say. But the DRZ is a great motorcycle. All right, boys, those are the questions. Thank you so much for everybody who submitted. It's already 6:30, so that was quite a long diatribe from your Papa Yam on the economy, on inflation, on artificial intelligence. Hopefully I did not, hopefully I didn't lose you there is all I'm trying to say. If you want to ask more questions, join the community and talk about this sort of stuff, join on yammie.co, the Discord server. Although it is full of anime lovers and furry people and tech people, it is a wide and beautiful group of folks. Come out and join. It's a great time. It's like a bike night that never ends. It's a good time. All right, the next segment. Oh, baby. We got new graphics on all of these, boy. We got skeletons down there. We got SpongeBob Hayabusas. We got Valentino Rossi pulling the hair back. Bike roaster boast, baby. It's my favorite time of the week. We get to talk about some ridiculous motorcycles that y'all submit. I will try my best to roast them, because I think it's more fun when I get unhinged and get a little crazy with it. So let's check these out, boys. All right, first up, RYAN on Discord. My wife declined my offer of having her bike professionally wrapped because she could do it herself. How do you think she did? Let's see. Oh, what the hell is that? What is this edge right there? Oh, no. Oh. How do you tell someone that they did a very, very, very bad job at... Oh, my God, that's bad. This was certainly her first time doing this, right? Oh, no. Oh, dude. No, bro. Oh, my God, dude. Okay, boys, can we get some Fs in the chat here? This is rough. What the hell is that? What kind of cut is that? You did not, did you even look up a video how to do this? Holy moly, dude. Oh my God, bro. Not even from a distance, dude. You're like 5 feet away from this bike. I can still see that edge all chomped up there. That does not look good. Guys, this is, oh my goodness gracious. This is okay, this front here looks okay. Front fender looks okay. All this looks okay, right? But the gas tank is just, oh boy, that's super duper fucked. That looks like a 4th grader did it. That's bad. That looks like macaroni art that your kid brings back, and you're like, dude, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Congratulations. Okay, how do we salvage this, everyone? Basically, I think you could get away. Okay, here's what you do. The rest of the wrap looks pretty decent. I can't really tell some of this other stuff. This looks atrocious, but why is one side covered and one side not? What the hell? This is not how you wrap a gas tank. This is ridiculous. Luke also said, did she not have a craft knife? She ripped it off with her hands. Yeah, like, how did you cut this? And why is it so wrinkly and bad? It's not straight at all. You can't cut like this. When you wrap something, you got to wrap it around the edge and tuck it on the way back so that when you put the piece back on, that wrap is tucked on the other side. You can't tuck it like this, dude. Yeah, okay, you got to rewrap the tank. You gotta rewrap the tank. You can't. This is embarrassing. You can't leave it like this. I'm sorry. You got to show your wife this. Holy mackerel! That's one of the worst wrap jobs I've seen on the tank. Everything else looks pretty decent, but yeah. Bruce on chat said he must really love her. Imagine she shows you this. You're like, babe, it looks great. It looks awesome. Good job. So sick. And then you park the bike next to her, and you're like, I have no idea who she is. I've never met her. I don't know who the hell that is. Oh man. Malamoto said heat gun for Christmas. That's a sure sign. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna rate that one like a 2 out of 10. You pretty much ruined the street triple there. So rewrap the tank, figure it out, redo it, and then get back to me. I want to see an update on this one. Okay. Simply Killer on Discord. Papa Yams, I started off on a 96 Suzuki Katana 600. Unfortunately, I binned that. Shocker that someone who started on a 96 Katana binned it. Broke my back in 2 places and snapped both bones in my wrist. Ouch. Oof, sorry to hear it. I actually rebuilt that bike from the ground up with a new frame that I got. Then I found a good deal on this 2008 FZ1. Yes, you wrecked the 600? Dude, jump up another level, bro. Bought it wrecked and slowly been fixing everything as I go. Luckily, I was able to get a couple thousand miles on it before the end of the riding season, but here's some pictures of it from the auction, and after I got her running good again. Ooh, yeah, that's a rough one. Man, I say this all the time, but FZ1s have aged nice, and these are nice bikes. I have wanted to get one of these off of Craigslist and just like ride it back from California or something and just prove that you don't need a big fancy bike to do all the cool stuff you want to do. This looks like the Katana, maybe? Or is the FC? I can't really tell what bike that is in there. Can we hold on a sec? What the fuck kind of tie-down job is this? Wait a minute. That's the old spaghetti tie-down. The old Italian tie-down method over here. Spaghetti style. And we're off. No, you're not. You can't be... Imagine rolling down the road like that, like, don't worry, man, she ain't going anywhere. Yeah, because you have, like, I don't even know how many tie-down straps on here that it looks like... What the... What the hell? Half of these don't even have tension on them. You have so much slack. What you have to do with these that have a lot of slack, you basically have to, like, you create... Okay, look. You pull it to the point. You give it, like, 2 or 3 ratchets because you don't want to bunch it up. And then the slack, you have to, like, basically tie it up or zip tie it or something, dude. Jesus Christ. You don't have to do it like that. This is why I like the tie-down straps that don't have the slack. They're, like, self-contained. They just make it a lot cleaner. This is crazy. Yeah, it ain't going nowhere, boys. It ain't going nowhere. Holy crap. The FC1 looks cool though. Yeah, it's a cool bike. I like how you mixed it up. You got the white fairing on it. You know, it's still kind of true to its roots as as a crap bike from auction, but still having a good time, you know? I do have to call you out for that, though. You got to hit some more twisties, my friend. That tire's not leaning over very much. I did have to point that out. I'm not a chicken strip, you know, stickler, but I do think that you do need to perhaps lean the bike a little bit more over. What's funny is every time I get a giveaway bike now and I don't take it on track, I also have chicken strips on the bike. It doesn't really matter. I'm just clowning on you for no reason. Okay. This tie-down job is insane. Okay. Ruby the Bike Dyke on Discord. You said it, not me. So I submit my homely rat bike. We need to normalize calling motorcycles rat bikes. I like that. A 2001 SV650 that I bought for $500 from previous owner who didn't watch out for the clip-ins and low-sided it. Plastics, foot controls, brake master, and all of the lighting were smashed beyond usefulness, and so I removed the plastic and rebuilt it as an upright naked bike and ditched the clip-ons for handlebars. Take note of the handmade brackets I welded together to hold the headlight, turn signals, and gauge cluster up front, and to my custom tail tidy license plate and turn signal bracket in the rear. Roast it all you want. I know it's ugly, but it's what I could afford, and it got me back on two wheels after a cager took out my last bike, and nearly me as well. Oh, we love a rat bike, don't we? We love a rat bike. Come on. I've seen way worse SV650s than this. You know, it's so funny that SVs all kind of fall prey to this life. It's like they all start out kind of looking like rat bikes, and then people just use and abuse them and destroy them, and then they just end up... I swear, all generations of this SV look like this. Josh, who used to work for me at Yammie Noob, he had two different SV650. They were all rat bikes like this, man. It's great. They're supposed to be like this. Look at the sad little headlight that's like oblong on the forehead. Oh, man. Yeah. It's like a motorcycle with congenital defects for sure. That's unfortunate. Oh, Lord have mercy. Even this low potato quality photo, I can still see that it's a total mess. The gauges are way too high. The gauges are... Why are the gauges like a foot above where the headlight is? It should be right around here. You have them like 10 inches above where they're supposed to be. This looks like super old school, like JDM tuner cars that have the boost gauges on the A pillar, but it's like a motorcycle version of it. There's a lot going on with this bike. Where's the custom bracket? What'd they say about here? Take note of the handmade brackets I welded together to hold the headlight, turn signals, and gauge clusters. I was looking at that, and that's the thing that's way too up high for my taste. There's a lot of this is like an open zip tie here, some open wiring. You definitely want to cover this up over here. You don't want stuff like this. I do still like the way these SVs look. The frame always looked good to me. Kind of a Franken build on this one, says Josh P. Bandit TV, Yammie, used to rail my stepmom, dude. How you been? I've been good, dude. Loving life. Things are going great. Me and the old girl still hang out from time to time. Doc Tibbs on Discord. Hey, Yammie. My name is Justin, and I'm 28, living in New Mexico. 2 years ago, I sold my Stage 2 Golf GTI. I know I shouldn't have sold the car for a bike, but it's because I was working on the road and I didn't need a car just sitting, so I decided to jump full force into bike life. Regrettably, I wish... Okay, that should have been a period right there so I could stop and tell you a little bit. I will never, ever, ever clown you for selling a car for a motorcycle. Cars suck. Don't get them. They're a scam. No matter how fast your GTI was, a 400 could beat it, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, regrettably, I wish I was able to put more down on the Grom when I was buying it at the height of the bike season, but hey, you live and learn. Hope to one day win a bike raffle, or I'm able to afford an Africa Twin so I can finally do a cross-country trip to see my family and hopefully make my grandpa proud of his fellow rider. He was a Harley guy, got in a bad accident, but now drives a Harley-Davidson F-150, so he's still doing happy. I'm also Doc Tibbs on Instagram, starting to get more motorcycle photography for my local area riders, and maybe some automotive photography. Very nice. Hey, a lovely little Grom with the scrambler tires. Are these, I don't think these are the stock tires in the Grom, if memory serves me correctly. This is the new generation with the super easy access bolts, the high visibility bolts, because Grom riders are paint chip eaters. That Venn diagram is just a circle. And so they need to be able to quickly identify where the bolts are. Grom riders are absolutely, munching on Crayolas like they're French fries. So you got to say, here's where the bolts are. It's like a paint by numbers thing, I don't know why they did this. You didn't have to highlight the bolts. Look, motorcyclists are dumb, but we're not that dumb, okay? God damn. I do love a Grom, though. I'm actually in the market for a Grom right now. I just made fun of paint chip eaters, but I am actually in the market for one because I want to get a little stunt bike. Your Papa Yam's tired of not being able to do wheelies, so I am going to do a little Grom stunt build and get good. I actually have a fun video idea where I'm going to do 30 days of wheelie practice and show you guys that anyone can learn to do it because I will be able to do balance point nooners before I die. I love this. This image is fantastic. Okay, so many questions. You rented a giant U-Haul truck, presumably to put the Grom inside of. It's not tied down in any way. I hope to sweet merciful Christ, you did not rent this U-Haul truck to put a Grom inside of it, pointed diagonally with no tie-down strap. I hope that you moved a bunch of stuff with it, because this is pretty crazy. But I do like it. I really, really do. Hey, look at this guy just big chilling on the Grom. Okay, so I want to go back to what you were saying. He said he sold his Stage 2 Golf GTI. I hope you got more money than just a Grom's worth out of that, because that's pretty tough. Because that's a bad trade deal if you traded a whole ass GTI for a Grom. Hopefully you got some cash out of that deal. You're looking good on the Grom, bro. Loving life. I like it. I like it. Okay, Adam Aeneid on Discord. I think I saw this guy on chat earlier. I think he said it was really late. He said, my new Tourer, a 02 V-Strom 1000. Oh, this is a big brain over here. I bought it in the beginning of this year for €3,500 from the first owner who had down upgraded to a 1250 GS. How do you down upgrade? What is that? Had 32,000 kilometers on it when it bought it. Now it's closer to 50K. Comfortable, reliable, nice engine, lots of space to strap things to. Pics are from my trip to the Northern Circle this summer. Yeah, dude, this is how you do it. Look how clean this thing is, boys. This is what I tell you all the time. Okay, I have something to say about this because it's a Suzuki, and I'll tell you guys this on chat right now. I recently bought, because I was tired of telling you guys that bikes like this are like the cream of the crop. Just get something from the mid-2000s, call it a day. I finally lived what I preach, and I bought, as my new track bike, a 2009 Gixxer 600 that's fully prepped. Thing's a peach. It's great. I'm getting suspension work done on it. It's fantastic. I'm going to go rip a bunch of laps with it, and if it blows up, I don't care. It was $5,000. Who cares? This guy, €3,500, this beautiful touring bike, does everything he needs it to do. Characterful V-twin. Nice motor, Brian Cape says, I love your channel, but cannot continue if you consistently use the Lord's name in vain. I am not religious, so I don't have as much of a thing about using those names in vain. That means nothing to me. So I don't mean to offend anybody, but it just doesn't mean anything to me. It's not out of trying to offend anybody. I hope you understand. Jesus Christ, I hope you understand. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Look at all these bags and top boxes. I don't know where do you say he went? The Northern Circle? Northern Circle. That's got to be like Scotland or something. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, that's nice. I don't know why you have an antenna on it, but that is nice. This blue color's kind of cool too. I'm sorry. I'm just partial to a beautiful blue Suzuki. This guy's camping with it. I just love people who are doing the motorcycling thing for just doing it simple, doing it effectively. It's just great. You don't gotta do all that. You don't gotta go get a $20,000 BMW. This guy's doing the exact same thing for €3,500, baby. All right, the Kurt on Discord. And just because, here is the obligatory NC700X submission. Oh, Christ. I've owned my 2013 NC700X manual, not DCT, for a few years. It serves as my commuter bike and short tourer. The last picture is my 84 Honda VF700 Magna and my Project 73 Honda CL350. We have someone who is a masochist. Let's take a look here. Yep, it's an NC. I don't know why NC people think they have the best bike in the world, man. It's not that great. It's just a bike, you know? I think what it is that it's similar to the V-Strom that I just showed, that it's going to do everything you need it to do. It's going to get you places. Florida. All your opinions are disqualified. You're from Florida. That looks like, or Georgia. I don't know. I don't know what license. I'm pretty sure that's a Florida license plate. And if you are, your opinion's invalid. I'm sorry. But NC700 people, it's the same thing as the V-Strom, where I'm like, yes, it does everything it needs to do, but it just does it a little bit more boring. The V-Strom, V-twin, characterful, torquey, fun, pokey, you know? NC, kinda, you know, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not that cool. You know what I mean? It's not that great. The Magna looks sick, though. Got the flat bars on it, the twin analog gauges. Magnas are cool. I think I feel like all Magnas are basket cases, though. But, yeah. I don't know. Oh, the Kurt's on the chat. Nice. Talking mad crap right directly to you. I like that you got some sort of basket back here. Is it a mobility scooter? If so, that's a classic deep Yammie Noob cut is the mobility scoot. All right, Moto Cruiser on 750 on Discord. Hey, Yammie, here's mine, which doesn't get talked about too often, a 2016 Aprilia Shiver 750. I'll tell you why they don't get talked about too often, because they're often blown up or in the garage not working. They don't ride much anymore. This motorcycle is so much fun. Great power and sound, smooth ride, and my biased opinion thinks it looks cool. It's comfortable for tall riders and versatile for most riding styles. The only mods are Puig adjustable levers, which it came with, front radiator guard, and a tail bag I just ordered. I love Italian motorcycles, so these are a great choice for those who want the same. I picked it up for $5,000 with 5K miles on it. That's pretty fantastic. You know what? These are actually, you know, I just did mention, you know, kind of like, oh, it's, you know, screw you and your Shiver. It sucks. It doesn't run reliably. Aprilia's, they kind of went through a weird spell in the mid-2010s where they weren't particularly reliable. They've gotten better, but I think it's fascinating that, so let's take a step back. The Shiver platform, I believe, comes from the time when Aprilia was making more V-twin motorcycles. They had the Miele, they had, I think they had a naked 1000cc V-twin. This is a 750, if I recall. Yeah, that's what it says on the tank, or the tail right over here. And so this was when Aprilia was still making V-twins, before they went full in on the V4 and then switched to the parallel twins they have now. So really the Tuono 660 is kind of the spiritual successor to the Shiver 750, but you can't beat an Italian V-twin. The Aprilia Shiver is kind of like the old school monsters. They got a lot of character and charm and flavor. And I think they're pretty cool, you know? I think they're neat. But again, the reliability is questionable. But you can't argue for 5K for 5,000 miles on the clock. It's pretty good, you know? Pretty sweet. Seth on chat says, it looks like a premium SV650. Yeah, it looks like a DLC pack SV650. All right. Hesh 8994. Can't really find anyone that wants to talk about these bikes, so here you go. 2003 Honda VTX 1800C. Oh God. Has the big road hog 2-to-1 exhaust, intake filter, and a power commander. Only things I've done is change front springs to add progressive springs, added Viking hard bags and some American Elite tires. I've had it just over a year and put almost 10,000 miles on it. Currently has 43K on the clock. Well, you've certainly been riding it a ton. And I'll tell you why people don't like to talk about these. What year is this? 2003? It's pretty good for 2003. Basically, these are from a time when every manufacturer, mostly Japanese manufacturers, believed that if they built a more reliable, big-ass, air-cooled Harley-Davidson, that people would come and buy their bikes. As you can tell, this is almost criminal IP, theft here from Honda. I mean, if you squint, this looks like a Harley Davidson, and they did that on purpose. They were trying to capture Harley market share back in the day. So the Yamaha Bolt was kind of like the Sportster clone. Honda made like so many variations of cruisers, just desperately trying to eke out Harley market share. Because Harley market share in the US is insane. They sell so many big ass cruisers to people, especially in the mid 2000s. Oh my God, they were printing money hand over fist. And so it makes sense why Honda was trying to do that. But there's nothing particularly unique or inspiring about these, which I think is why people don't like talking about them very much. But it's weird because VTX people do ride a lot and they do enjoy it. And the best part is you can get these for super cheap because, again, there's not really a huge market for them. But yeah, I think that they are a bit, how do I phrase this? They just don't have that much going on. We did a review on a Suzuki Boulevard one time, and I was like, okay, like, it's a bike. It'll do the thing it does. But yeah, I think it lacks that heritage and kind of like panache that Harleys have, which is why people don't like talking about them very much. Oh boy, look at that headlight. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, I think I think it's cool. I think it's cool that it does the thing, and I think it's all right. I don't have too much of an opinion about it. Josh P says, "Imagine wearing a Harley hoodie while riding that. That would be actually really funny." I bet you if you put Harley badges on that, nobody would even bat an eye, except for like diehard Harley people, because it looks just like some random Harley, All right, Wizard by Pain. Here is one to hate on. LMAO. It's my 2024, oh God, CBR 500R. It is a comfortable ride, and yes, I know it's lacking in power, but for starting on street bikes, I think it was a great learner bike. It is not, oh my God, someone actually bought this. Okay. Oh my God. It's not that the CBR 500R is lacking in power. It's not. It makes perfectly adequate amount of power. It makes like 48 horsepower. That's fine. I will harp on this until I die. The CBR 500R's problem is its price and its weight. The CBR 500R, I believe, you can quote me on this, I think. It's priced at, I think, $74.99 MSRP for a bike that's basically the same as a Ninja 500 or 400. It's been this expensive for a long time. And we talked about this earlier on chat, or with the questions, where I was like, if you keep showing up to dealerships and they quote you an out-the-door price for these things for like 10 grand, and you're like, yup, sign me up, you are part of the problem. We have to stop. You have to decide to not spend an egregious amount of money on something like this. Yeah, so people on chat saying that the Shrek helmet cover kind of explains everything. I would agree. I would definitely agree that this is very, very silly. And I get it. You want a flashy, shiny new motorcycle to show off. It looks super clean. It looks nice. It is simply not worth the money, boys. It's not worth the money. I can't believe someone actually bought a 2024 with the fake winglets. I made fun of this bike a few months ago. I was like, what? Honda has learned nothing about this. This is insane. Producer Logan added this beautiful gem here. Oh God, the CBR 500R. Oh Lord. Just clowning the poor guy. Jeez. Oh, we got another one. Mala on Discord. I believe he's here on chat as well. Here are my restoration project Buells I traded this year and traded up. 2003 XB9R and 2004 XB12S. Both were a mess when I got them, but cleaned up nice. Used them as training ground to learn maintenance and working on the bike. Works done includes changing forks, restoring plastics, engine work, upgraded brake calipers, master cylinders, tuning, fuel mapping, exhaust systems, and electrical gremlins. So this one, I actually remember seeing on Discord because I couldn't help but take a peek. And these might be the nicest looking Buells I've ever seen. Buells are almost typically always in kind of like busted up and sad states of disrepair. But boy almighty, these look great. This one in particular, this white, has such a unique look to it. I think it looks really, really cool. It's kind of a period piece. It's super unique. I would personally rock this one. This one's great with the wheels. Like, they're just so unique and cool, man. Like, what a great job you've done restoring these. These look awesome. This still looks really good. This is actually really, really nice. And something, again, that not many people do to this level, to this attention to detail. I think you've really, really pulled something off here. I actually really, really dig these. Both of these are really, really nice. Very clean, very nice. The rap bikes on Discord could certainly learn something from this. This is how you do it. This is a great looking set of bikes. Yeah, people are saying the black one looks incredible. I think both of them look awesome, man. I think this one has a fantastic silhouette. But I think the black one looks really freaking sweet. Yeah, just excellent. Excellent. Can't roast this one, boys. This one's just too damn good. All right, folks. It's motorcycle trivia time. Let's get it popping. Well, starting off with the Buell question. How many Buell motorcycles were manufactured before the company was discontinued in 2009? They made a lot of Buell Blasts for those little MSF courses, and look at how wretched the Buell Blast is, dude. Good lord. I want to say that Buell probably made at least, I'm going to say 50,000. That's my guess. Wow. By October 2009, Buell had produced 136,923 motorcycles since 1983. That is way, way, way more than I thought. Way more than I ever thought the Buell had made. Wow. Pretty crazy. In what year did the SV650 receive fuel injection? This one I know the answer to. I believe it was 2001. That is a really cool looking SV650, by the way. I believe it was 2001 because Josh, who worked at Yammie Noob, would always supplant me with SV650 knowledge. Oh my God, 2003, damn it. I said it with so much confidence, too. I was like, it's 2001, bro. I freaking know it. I'm telling you guys, all you need on the internet is just confidence. You don't actually have to know anything. You just have to have confidence. Oh, Christ. I do try my best. What kind of layup? Hold on. Wait a minute. This is a trick question. In what country was the Honda Hornet 919 manufactured? Oh, boy. That's a great looking photo. That looks just like the one that we restored. What country was it manufactured? It's not Japan because it's a trick question. It wasn't manufactured in Japan. Was it manufactured in Thailand? Or was it some like oddball place like Brazil? Oswaldo says India? No chance was the Honda made in India. I'm going to say Thailand. The Hornet 909 was originally intended for the European market, so they were manufactured in Italy. And look at that. Logan found photos of the original giveaway bike, the Hentai Hornet that I did, and the tasteful Hayabusa wrap. Christ. 2018 Yammie Noob was really unhinged. That was some crazy shit that I did. And I was like, yeah, this will work. I can do this as a job. And 6 years later, here I am, somehow doing it as a job. Who the hell knows? Question. How many valves does a notable Yamaha FZ750 engine have? Well, producer Logan, the answer's right there. It says 5, right on the fairing. Maybe he didn't see that it was in the photo when he selected it. However, I do also know that there are 5 valves. So, yeah. Yep. One of the major design features of the FZ750 was the 5-valve cylinder. 20 valves in total. God bless you when you're doing valve checks on this monster. You just want to kill yourself. Excuse me, unalive yourself. You have to say it that way. Okay. Why is the 1971 Suzuki GT750 a significant motorcycle model? I believe this was the first water-cooled motorcycle, maybe, because it says water-cooled right there, and we're just going off of what it says in the picture. Also, this color should definitely come back. What is this kind of like candy paint? This looks so great. I really love the way this looks. I'm going to say this was the first water-cooled motorcycle. Let's try that. Look at that. GT750, a.k.a. the water buffalo. Look at the radiator. A.k.a. the kettle. A.k.a. the water bottle, was a 739cc 3-cylinder 2-stroke first Japanese production motorcycle to use Liquid cooling, baby. Look at that radiator right there. Boom, boom. Liquid cooled. Oswaldo said, because it pulled vag, baby. Hell yeah. Look at this guy jumping. Holy crap. Which is the following bridges found on the Isle of Man TT mountain course do riders famously get airborne jumping over? Governor's Bridge, Braddon Bridge, Bala Bridge, Greba Bridge. I think it's C. Or it's B or C. I think it starts with the B. Braddon Bridge. That sounds familiar. We're going to guess C. Remember, multiple choice. 60% of the time, it's C, boys. Come on. It was A. God damn it. Jeez. So fun fact, I actually got invited to go to the Isle of Man for 2025. I'm currently working on the logistics for that. So hopefully next, I believe it's July or August when they actually have the races. I don't remember. I will be there, not participating. Lord have mercy. I am not nearly qualified to do that. But I will be observing and hopefully doing a parade lap around the island. Chirag said those questions suck. Well, luckily for you, they're over. There's no more questions. All right. It's time for the mystery box. Here it is. It's in this small package here. Let's take a look. Well, look at that. It's food. Red calamari, natural dried squid. Oh my God. High protein content, low in fat, rich in minerals, omega fatty 3 acids, source of B vitamins, no carbohydrates. The term calamari technically means any squid eaten as food. Drying squid preserves taste and its nutritional value. It is a complete protein, which means that it contains adequate amounts of all 9 essential amino acids required for building the tissues and muscles of our body. Well, we got to try it, right? Got to try the calamari. I've never had dried calamari. This is kind of crazy. Let's try it out. This would absolutely make my wife gag because she, oh my gosh, this is kind of gross. She despises seafood. Wow, this is visceral. Are we about to do a mukbang video? Look at this. Oh, Jesus. Look at that. It kind of looks like shrimp. Ooh, it's very pungent. It smells like turtle food. Smells like turtle food. All right, boys, down the hatch. This is a lot better than I thought. It's seasoned with something. It's not the worst thing. It's really not the worst thing. I've had squid chips before from like Asian markets. It kind of tastes like that. And that's pretty crazy. You got to not think about it too much, you know? Daniel said he's Brazilian, folks. He can handle it. Calamari from a bag. Man, if I have tummy troubles in the next couple of days, producer Logan, I am blaming you because I did eat it for the biscuit here, and I just straight up ate dried calamari on camera. It's very chewy. It says healthy snacking. I'm not sure this is healthy. Y'all see how much I have to chew? Oh my God. Nope, I started thinking about how it's dried calamari and I got kind of sick thinking about it. Oh my God. One of them just refuses to get chewed. Okay, so I would rate it a I'd rate it a 7 out of 10. It's basically like jerky, but with like a crazy seafood sort of scent and profile to it. So if you want, seafood jerky, get yourself dried calamari. Yeah. I think the camera died. Anyways, boys, that's the end of the stream. Hope you had some fun. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.